Anywhere there's real niggas around, I'm right at home.
Once again, back is the incredible, the incredible.
Folks over at the Union already left a comment at. We're going to talk about URL in these pay-per-views, and in fact, let's get straight to the bottom of that. Yo, it's your man Fat Boy checking the fuck in. I'm sorry about the mic quality if it sounds a little funny. It's a little different. I got a different microphone right now. I want to acknowledge a couple of things before I get into my solution. What I feel like will be a decent solution to the problem that URL is trying to figure out. Right now, you're running the risk of losing the culture in its entirety and its fan base from the way I'm looking at this. Because you have to acknowledge the fact that your fan base on YouTube is way bigger than your fan base on pay-per-view. So much to Visuel's point, if you don't supply your YouTube fan base, you're going to create a situation where people who haven't been able to see the battles as they fall in sequential order, they're going to lose interest, or they're going to tune out. They're going to skip battles. They're going to not watch certain shit. And you run the risk of losing the fan base, and never forget that everybody that's paying $50 right now may not be willing to pay $50 the next time. So you want to be able to capitalize on that YouTube money as much as you possibly can. So without hurting the culture, I do believe that you can still do pay-per-views for every event. Is it the most effective way to continue on from here on out if you feel that there's an issue? I don't know. I like what John Real had to say. John said that there was also a possible oversight on the fact that RBE had the Moot card. He also forgot to mention they also did have the J Mills card, which just happened, which may have affected pay-per-views, mind you, a week after the RBE event. So those things definitely play into the factors here. But here's what I'm looking at. This is the way I'm seeing this. I think you can do a pay-per-view for every single card, but I think there's a certain way you got to structure it, and there's a certain way you got to price it without oversaturating your main talent, because it seems like for the most part, most of URL's cards are just a rotation of the same battlers over and over again. You just mixing and matching the names, right? And that's been the debate over the URL cards for quite some time now. We've all been knowledgeable of this. Here's what I want to say though. This is how I think you should structure the cards. I feel like when you buy a pay-per-view for a boxing match, you only paying the $50 to see Floyd fight, or $60 to see Floyd fight at the end. You may get lucky and get some good fights earlier. You may not. But nobody's upset at the end of the night because the main fight you wanted to see was the main event. So whether you got some goodies in the beginning, who the fuck cares? I never hear people complain about that, and I don't feel like URL should get treated any differently in that regard. But here's what I want to say. Here's a way to market all of your brand across the board without losing the interest of fans long term. This is my solution. You take a battle that would be considered a PG battle and make it your opening battle. This is exposure to your most potential that you have coming out of the PG class. Give us two people that you think we would love to see in the future and give us that exposure, because the average fan, like if you bought the pay-per-view you're going to see them on the card. But the average fan, or most fans, do not run to see these PG battles when they happen. So force us to see one, much like my theory on female battle rap. Give us one and give us a reason to be interested in watching these people later. And I think that that would benefit the PG class and female battles. Then you take 2 battles that would be Born Legacy level battles and put those on the card. Now there's a reason I'm saying to put these 3 battles on the card, and I'm gonna get to that. And then you have 2 headliner type battles, much like you did with the strike card. You had a bunch of battles that could have been Born Legacy battles, and I'm not gonna say that Geechee versus T-Top was a clear headline battle on a Summer Madness or a Gnome. I'm not gonna say that, but it was definitely the main event of the card, without mistaking who was the top battle on the card. We all know what it was. So you take a PG, 2 mid-levels, and 2 headlining battles and put that on the card. Do it for $30. Niggas is not willing to pay $50 for a card like that. But for $30, you might even entice fans who wouldn't normally buy the pay-per-view like shit. It's only $30 this time. Fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. Yeah. I mean, you look at the smaller leagues, they book their cards the same way. They have all these people you never seen, and then at the top of a lot of these cards, you got Twerk versus somebody, or Chess versus somebody. Like, shit, I ain't really interested in all these battles, but I would watch that chess battle. So I don't understand why that wouldn't work for $30. This way, you've added fans to your pay-per-view stream, right? Okay, so how do you follow that up? How do you keep the fans on the YouTube level interested? Well, you take that PG battle and you take those 2 mid-level battles and you drop those within a month. Within a month, that's correct, you heard me right, of the pay-per-view. My nigga, you only spent $30. Who's gonna be upset that they spent $30 and 3 of the battles is already out? The 2 main battles, who the person buying the pay-per-view that you wanted to see, is pretty much what you paid the $30 for. Those battles haven't been released. That way, the battlers get their exposure, the battles aren't being held for too long, and nobody's really upset about those 3 battles being released. You take those 2 main event battles, which you hope and panned out to be really good battles, and you put those around the next card that's coming out. You drop them around the next card that's coming out. It may be a month from now, maybe a month and a half, or almost 2 months from now. By then, nobody's upset, and 2 months is not too long to show those 2 main event battles. I hate that I'm editing this in here, right? But I felt like it was important enough for me to add this to the video. Number 1, let's not forget that RBE does add their 1SK battles to their events, which is my point, which gives you an opportunity to see lower tier talent that you may be interested in later if they did a good job on the card. And second, let's not forget that Showtime and HBO will take the main event battles from a pay-per-view event and air the shit a week later. It doesn't stop people from paying that $50 and $60 to see those fucking fights when they happen. You paid for a live event, you got a live event, and you get to see it before everybody else. That was the purpose of paying for it. It's not to withhold everybody else from watching it. You wanted to see the shit live, you got to fucking see it live. So you haven't fucked up the timeline of battle rap, and in most cases, much like we saw in 2018, the URL is already on to another event. By the time those battles drop, we already talking about the next fucking card. So it's not like dropping these battles has fucked up anything leading into the next event, and you've given the fans what just happened from the last event, and giving them 2 good battles from the last card is enticing for your next card. Now let's assume that the next card is a gnome. This is a $50 card. Now I know that the debate on this is going to be, oh well, I paid my $50 and then you dropping these battles all fast. Damn, man, that just don't seem fair to the person who paid the $50. My nigga, let me be clear on something. I don't pay $50 just because I'm a blogger and I'm gonna buy the battles anyway. It's not just that. I'm supporting the culture. And I think fans are forgetting that you paid for what you wanted, which was for you to be able to see the battles that fucking day. Why are you so concerned with what time frame other people get to see the fucking battle? You've seen it already. You paid to see it now. That was the purpose of the $50. That was the point of your purchase. So if you got what you wanted out of it, and then they treat this card, which was my suggestion, the same way they did the $30 card. I'm going to take the 3 weakest battles, and within a month's time, I'm going to drop those within a month or so, probably 2 or 3 weeks after starting with the first battle. 2 or 3 weeks after, I'm going to drop the first battle that may be the weakest of the card that I just had. From the known card, the mega card. So if you treat that card the same way you did the other card, you found a way to keep the people who are willing to pay the $50, and you found a way to maybe add more fans to buy the $30 cards. You've exposed a lot more of your talent across the board by having other battlers in the PG class and some of your mid-levels. This guarantees them a shot on your smaller cards, and you still make the pay-per-view money off of it because everybody's not willing to pay $50 for every single fucking card. Now you've made it to where your battlers are not feeling like their battles are not being dropped, and you haven't alienated the YouTube viewership. So if I spent $50 and 2 months later, you know, Tay-Rock versus Hitman comes out, I'm not gonna care. This is 2 months later, my nigga. It's 2 months later. You know how fast battle rap changes, where a battle is fire for a whole fucking week, and no matter how fucking crazy it was, Calico versus Ill Will is battle of the year. People not sitting around still talking about it like that. It's the topic of conversation in some circles, but nobody's mad if that battle was to drop like now. It already happened, and everybody that was going to talk about it talked about it already. You want to generate more buzz, you want that impact, drop the battle. What's the wait? It's been a couple of months. Drop the fucking battle, let the fans appreciate it, but you want to sell it leading into your next event. Those are just my opinions. I would love to know what John Real, Visual, and Jay Legend have to say about that. I'm going to end this blog right here. It's your man, Fat Boy, signing the fuck off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I respect the culture. I advise you niggas to do the same. When you hear my voice stop, it's when that beat drop.